Good afternoon. Today we have the honor of commemorating the retirement of Master Sergeant Matthew Parker after 22 years of dedicated military service. The presiding official for today's ceremony is the Commander, 373rd Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Group, Colonel Laura Terry. At this time, we would like to take a moment to recognize our distinguished guests in attendance. Master Sergeant Parker's wife, Joy Parker, their children Jesslyn, Addison, and Caitlin, with her husband, Specialist Jim Burdett, and their son Miles. We also wish to give a warm welcome to Master Sergeant Parker's mother and father, Sharon and Jim, his sisters Kim, with her daughter and son, Patty and Colin, his brother JJ, with his wife Courtney and their daughter, and sons Izzy, Jay, and Zach, and his mother-in-law Grace. We would also like to recognize and extend a warm welcome to the distinguished visitors in attendance. The Commander, 673rd Air Base Wing and Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson, Colonel Lisa Mabbitt. The Executive Director, 673rd Air Base Wing, Mr. Don Weckhorst. The Command Chief, 673rd Air Base Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Michael Sylvester. And the Sergeant Major, 673rd Air Base Wing, Sergeant Major Joshua McComas. Finally, we extend a special welcome to all senior officers, civilians, commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, members of Team J-Bear, and friends for being here to share in this special occasion with Master Sergeant Parker and his family. At this time, I ask that you please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and the invocation. Performing the national anthem is A1C Win, and the invocation will be read by Captain Schumann.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. Almighty God, thank you for this glorious Alaskan day. We ask that you bless Master Sergeant Matthew Parker. We are thankful for him in our service. We are thankful for him in the building. We are thankful for him as a person. We are excited for his retirement and sad that a senior NCO is leaving the ranks. Bless him, his family, his extended family, all those mentors, people in his life that brought him to this day. Grant his family the peace and stability that they seek. Bless all those who had a hand in today's ceremony. Finally, as a soon-to-be retiree, we ask that you bless Peepaw in your most holy name. Amen.
Thank you, A1C Win, for that rendition of the national anthem, and Chaplain Schumann for the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is now my pleasure to turn the floor over to Colonel Terry.
All right. Hey, first, a round of applause for Airman Gwen. Where'd you go? Awesome. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. Certainly, I think our main goal today, we want to honor Matt and his family, but we also want to have a little bit of fun. And so there was an awesome energy as you guys were filtering in. We had a few special guests in the crowd, well, lots of special guests. So we're going to go with that theme if I can pull it off here. We'll see. All right. We are just so thrilled that everybody is here. And in particular, we want to recognize our first two rows. You guys are looking fabulous. When I get a chance to share a perspective with our current active duty members, we talk about our ability to serve our families, but also to keep in mind our future. So when we get to a day like today, that these front rows are filled with the people that are most important to us. And Matt, I think you have done that in spades today, so congrats to you and Joy. Colonel Mavitt, Chief, Mr. Wykhorst, Sergeant Major, hiding in the back. Thank you so much for joining. So not only are we special guests here hosted by our Air Base Wing, but they are also the co-workers for Joy. We're gonna use that in a little bit. I'll come back to that. I shouldn't lose my notes, so we're gonna get off track. All right, so our families. First to the girls, to Jesselyn, Addison, Caitlin, Miles. We're hoping he might be the star of the show here a little bit. Miles is our newest arrival along with JM. Thank you so much for joining. And then I think we have, most of this is the Texas contingent. And so their comments on, some have been here before, most have not. The universal remark of, what do you think of Alaska, was, it's cold. Oh, I went to the wrong side. So to make sure that you guys are comfortable while we are in this space, as well as during your time, if you don't need it here, I also had it's cold when I first arrived, because when I got here, I came from Hawaii. And I learned that there's these great tricks, like heated gloves and heated socks, heated vests. And so for each of you from Hawaii, we have an official handout just to make sure that you're feeling good here. Local. Anybody here? We'll let you pass those down. Very good. There's others. We'll put these in the back. I am always a cold body, so in particular, would you guys like any? Okay, everybody's good here. All right, some are too hot, some are too cold. All right, so we got that taken care of with our family. We also have Joy's mom, Grace, who has been living up here in Alaska with them since 2022, so our official local. And then, all right, so to tell the story of Matt's career, we're gonna do this in 4 parts. 3 of those parts are gonna be about the career. The first part we've gotta cover is about when Matt and Joy first met each other. So we're going to have the before we joined the service, then Matt's early assignments as an airman and young NCO with 3 deployments to Iraq and 1 unaccompanied tour. And then he'll step into his more seasoned NCO days as a tech sergeant, 2 OCONUS assignments, and then 2 more deployments, and then finally this Alaska chapter. All right, so to tell this story, I'm gonna ask your hope. The family may or may not have noticed, underneath their seats are some note cards. So, are any of you familiar with the newlywed game? Any of the family know the newlywed game? I had to look this up a little bit. So for the girls, I learned the newlywed game originally came out in 1966, ran for 8 seasons. So in that game, you have couples within the first 2 years of marriage who, compete about how well they know each other. We're not gonna have Joy and Matt compete, although that would probably be more fun because they're a hoot. Instead, we're gonna figure out how well we know them. So we have the family in one kind of group of competition. I was wondering, ma'am, I wasn't gonna presume if you all, and perhaps any other volunteers on Team Joy, might be willing to sort of aggregate in this basically empty area. Anybody for Team Joy? All right, we have a couple volunteers. And then we're gonna need a Team Matt. Where do we want to put Team Matt? Matt, you are low on the totem pole. So Team Matt will do, we got Team Joy well huddled. All right. Hand these out now. We'll give one of these. I'll let you guys share. Perhaps behind you all. And more instructions to follow, just a sec. All right, we need a team map. Someone let you step up. All right, all right. Got our C, got Blackburn. Kowalki's, you want in on this? Very good, pre-positioned even. All right, here's how this is gonna go. And so Matt and Joy, no like tips, no, spreading the rumor. So what you have is 3 cards. On one side of the cards is an A, B, and C. So some of these questions will be 3 multiple choice questions, very straightforward. For example, what is Matt's favorite football team? A, the Dallas Cowboys. B, Houston Texans. C, San Francisco 49ers. Think about it and then hold up the correct response. All right, Team Matt's on it, family's on it. Team Joy is taking notes and suspecting Sergeant Major. I agree with you on the 49ers. I'm with that. But he's tried and true, Houston Texans. All right, that would be an example of the 3-part question. For an example of if you flip 2 of those cards over, you will see Matt's name and Joy's name. So for the 2-part questions, this will be, which did it apply to? For example, just to, starting us off, who works for NSA Alaska in the 373rd ISR group? There we go. All right. You all understand how the rules work. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep score, but we'll see what we can do here. All right, so we're going to have our start of the story. So there's going to be 5 questions in a row. I will not keep doing this for the entirety. We'll sprinkle them after that, but first off, all right, we know that Matt and Joy have known each other for quite some time. The question is, when they met, they were about the age of one of their children is now. So we have A, Caitlin, graduated from high school. B, Addie, sophomore, going into junior year. And C, Jesselyn, 6th grade, going into 7th grade. Ooh, we're starting to get a split vote. This is good. So Team Matt thinks it's Caitlin going into high school. Family has a little bit of a, what do we got here? We got I think I'm gonna go with majority purple, which would be Jesselyn's age. And then Team Joy, just changing their votes around. Chief, you can't vote. We talked about this before we started. It is in fact C, Jesselyn, 6th grade going into 7th grade. So Joy moved to Corpus Christi, Texas, the summer before 7th grade year. I think if I got the math right, it's somewhere around 93. I could be off there. All right, that was a little bit of a tougher one. So they weren't friends right away, but as went along, we're classmates. They were same year in school. Next question, 2-parter. This is a Matt compared to Joy. Who contributed more to the academic success of the other? There wasn't a lot of hesitation on this one. I'm sorry to say, Matt, but there's universal acknowledgement that Joy was in fact perhaps the more studious one in her early years. Oh, we have a protest vote in the back. All right. This is a 3-parter, A, B, and C. What sport did Matt play earning his Leatherman jacket that Joy wore? A, American football. B, European football, soccer. Or C, basketball. Ooh, the kids are going with football. Check your grandparents. Hey, all right, we have a strong showing of soccer, and some converting to soccer here shortly. Indeed, it was soccer. 50-50 here. All right, back to the 2-parter. Who asked the other to prom? Indeed, Joy asked Matt to prom. What did he say? What? Facts. Do you know why?
He didn't want to ruin their friendship.
There we go. There we go. The family stories run strong. All right. So no, he did not say yes. They graduated high school in 1999, and final question of this batch. It's a two-parter, Joy or Matt. Who first had the idea of joining the military? Well done, well done. It was in fact Joy, who went off to the United States Navy, was trained as a nuclear engineer, and served her first tour in Everett, Washington. Well, at the same time, our academician here was spending 4 years in a 2-year community college. Enjoying himself, perhaps a little bit too much on the beach. Dad's like, yeah, this rings some bells. But came to a little bit of an adult realization. He thought, I need a little bit of purpose in my life, perhaps, contributing to something bigger than myself. Jim, when first presented, offered some caution, and not for no reason. So as a veteran of the Coast Guard serving in Vietnam, and really a generational experience for your generation, he did not want his son to be treated as he had been. Thankfully, as a nation, sometimes we can learn. And so for those of us that were privileged to enter after 9/11 and experienced a very different environment in our nation, ultimately, Jim became proud of his son, recognized here, and are so glad you could join us today and that you guys continued on your course. But first, Matt had to get accepted. There might have been a little bit of a hiccup there. So you took your ASVAB and had a chat with the recruiter. Unfortunately, the main topic with his recruiter might have been the best bars in the area. Matt was 21 and never heard back from the recruiter. He's like, man, I must have bombed that test, so maybe I'm not going to be in the service. Although, upon further reflection, he gives a quick call, and it would have required him to have shared his phone number. So, for that reason, we were able to get Matt into the military. BMT, so basic military training, in September of 2003. Joy moves back to Texas in June of 2004. And a fact that was not known to me, but our Matt first started as a 1 in 3 language analyst as a Korean student. He acknowledges that he was a good test taker, but a poor language learner. And so this is the first characteristic of Matt that I wanted to point out. So at a very minimum, he's going to be honest. Could be about himself, could be about others, but if you don't want to know the answer to the question, don't ask it. So he got reclassed as a 2 Echo 2 at the time, which later became a 1 Delta 7. Did some training down in Mississippi, and then on to his first duty station. All right, so then we get part 2, Airman and Young NCO. He's at Tinker, Oklahoma, the 32nd Combat Comms Squadron, where he has his first deployment to Iraqi freedom, Kirkuk. He participates in the base IT with the phone and network system, keeping in touch with Joy. Somewhere along there, it transitions to sort of more deliberate dating, but I don't know that we're there yet. We're close. We're close. Not yet. Far. We're not close. We're far. All right. This is our audience participation again. All right. Matt is trained as a cyber professional, but took on an additional duty for which he was trained and qualified. A, so it's 3-parter, ABC. A, the lead drug reduction monitor, DDR. So that's going to be the observer of your analysis. B, the self-inspection monitor, which came in very handy later on. Or C, a vehicle crew chief. All right, we have a strong DDR showing in Team Joy. We have 1 self-inspection. A's, B's. Interesting. We're gonna go for purple. The lead vehicle crew chief. I think that it was a 0. 0. All right, so vehicle crew chief. He is trained to drive the deuce and a half, so 2 and 2.5 ton trucks, the 5 tons, tows the generators, water buffaloes, etc., and then trains others. And so I think this is where, among other times, we start to see, man, he's gonna figure out how to get it done. So as a trusted member to just take care of the mission, whatever it takes, we start seeing as a theme for Matt. Just before he departs on his second deployment, he and Joy, in fact, get married March of 2007 with our courthouse wedding, and he is off to Ali Air Base, Iraq, aka Al-Assad? Talil, correction. And then this was supposed to be upon return, so 24 hours after he returned, Edison was born. And then they, as a family of 4, are continuing on in Oklahoma before his third deployment in 2009, working the Predator Site Comm upgrades. Matt has progressed to be so much of a SME that the squadron isn't really willing to let him go do other things, for which he says, if you're not gonna let me, I have this button here that's called a volunteer for a remote, which he presses and ends up in being accepted and going to Korea for a 1-year unaccompanied assignment to Osan Air Base, Korea. I was in fact there at the exact same time. They are perpetually planning for their inspections, their wing inspections, and we have a great ability to wear our chem biological gear in our MOP gear. So when Matt wasn't fully invested in the gameplay, which is an example when you need to go relocate locations, you're wearing your MOP gear, you really can't do your job. It really is a perfect time for it now. So he survived that. And then the family got a choice assignment, Part 3, seasoned NCO. He's about to be a tech sergeant, and they went to Europe into Aviano Air Base, first with the 603rd, and then the Air Control Squadron, and then the 31st Comm Squadron. So 2 more deployments are coming up. So first we have Kandahar, where he was supposed to be there for 6 months, but the team that was scheduled to replace them, they decided to give the bonus of an ability to stay at home during the holidays, which meant the deployed team got extended. So that became a 7-monther, but working the deployed comm night shift lead, supporting a close air support mission, so the aircraft that go in support of the troops that are on the ground. Taking a little bit of indirect fire, occasionally the rounds get a little close, something about an explosion of a Pizza Hut, but his time in Afghanistan. Along the way, the 3rd daughter of the family, Jessalyn, is born in Italy. And Matt, I think through a contact of Joy's, starts participating in the Wings Daddy Boot Camp, which is to say it's probably a little bit less about changing diapers and more, how do you deal with a little guy who can't tell you what they need? You fed them, you changed them, they should be sleeping and yet they're just crying. And so Matt's approachability, and really what I would say is a reflection of just the smiles and joy as you guys were walking in, was his ability to be a friend. And so I think that was probably what the other students saw, the new dads, and we continue to see. He had his, what would end up being the 5th and final deployment, 6 months going to Djibouti in Africa with the Combined Joint Task Force, Horn of Africa. Apparently he had the interesting habit of leaving on Joy's birthday. And here is next audience participation. All right, well, it's gonna be a 3-parter, A, B, or C. What was the reason Joy nearly didn't recognize him upon his return? A, his fitness and tan. B, he had decided to wear a wig just to throw her off. C, the beard and scruff from his time working with SOF. Got 1 vote for beard. Got some purple showing, some pink, our hair. Ooh. Oh, A. It was, in fact, his fitness and tan. The A's take it. So after a number of months working out with the Navy and consistently playing soccer with both his Navy counterparts as well as the Kenyans when he was 3 months into Africa, he came back and for the first time in his career, got above a 90 on a PT. Well done, sir. Well done. But in all seriousness, so while this ends his time deploying, that is a lot of time away. In the first 8 years of their marriage, we had 5 deployments, 1 unaccompanied tour. That's a lot of missed birthdays, holidays, Joy holding down the fort, figuring out how to get reintegrated, and then doing it all over again. So when we talk about really the sacrifice and the service that our families make to our family, we are so thankful for you and don't take lightly your part in getting yourselves here today. Coming out of Italy, we then hit Japan, which Matt enjoyed as an opportunity to, he was assigned to the 374th Comp Squadron, which is located at Yokota, but he was operating location Alpha, which is the Commander Fleet Activities Sasebo, or CFAS. And so this is being assigned mostly in support of the Navy and the Marines. They are down in Sasebo, which I think both Grace, who's hanging out with Miles somewhere perhaps, both Grace and Sharon had a chance to come visit in Japan. We learned that of the top 50 things to do in Japan, most are or not located near Sasebo. Not. So if you want to visit Japan, most of the things are around Tokyo. Sasebo is not next to Tokyo, but I think they still had a good time. This was an awesome time for the family. I think the girls enjoyed it. So if you guys had a choice between a restaurant, a Japanese restaurant where you'd sit on the floor, or a 7-Eleven or Family Mart, which way do y'all vote? All three, there we go. Any favorite foods in Japan that we can remember? Would you all be a volunteer to go back there? Go visit Japan? All right, so Japan seems to have been good for the family. And then last we get to part 4, here in Alaska. Arrived in 2018 when the girls are, Caitlin's entering high school. Addie is going to be, oh man, lost my notes. Somewhere below that. Fourth grade, and you're going into kindergarten, right? All right, so here's the last audience participation question. This is your 50-50, Matt or Joy. For the 7th move for Matt, and the 4th as a family, on arrival to Alaska, who took on the majority of duties of getting the family reestablished? So the house unpacked, kids registered for school, doctors, activities, etc. Got a strong Joy showing from the 2nd row. We've got a little bit of a split vote over here. And the office in the back that was Team Matt was like, Matt, you were nowhere in the office. So we allege that you were helping the family get settled. In reality, he didn't have access to our building, which can be a bit of a delay. And so for the 3 months or so while Joy had already started her job, her first job here on base, working for the Air Base Wing, Matt had an appreciation tour on what it takes to actually get settled here. And so time in Alaska, there's been a couple kind of broad strokes. So on his first day cleared, we had the 2018 earthquake on 30 November. In our building, we had renovation round 1, which was room 170, that they have subsequently moved back into. Went through COVID, minor little disruption. Renovation round 2, which was the rest of the entirety of our building, and then close us out on group staff. For our Capes folks, you'll all appreciate this. In the meantime, oh, by the way, both the NSA Enterprise and the Air Force Enterprise are doing a bit of a transition on how we're going to do support. So we went to kind of Greenway contracted support, a consolidation of data centers, and I think Air Force is also still trying to figure itself out, but we'll leave that to the pros in the room. So starts down in capabilities, and at this point, he's starting to broaden a little bit. So he's been a tech sergeant for enough time that he's like, I might be willing to do those things that the chiefs in my life keep telling me about. And so he volunteers to be an additional leader, serves in a couple of tough cases, particularly on the transition. So for those that remember Lieutenant Colonel Schwartz, who is now in Colorado, when he was closing out his time as squadron commander, and handing off to, at the time, Lieutenant Colonel Hopkins, who will be returning to take my place here in just a couple of months. He certainly proved his muster in the trusted to get things done category, and earned his first promote now, but wasn't picked up the first time. There's always the heartbreak, so one is then able to counsel others. But he keeps on trucking, earns a promote now the 2nd time, and in fall of 2021 learns he has made Master Sergeant. And so this is where I get to enter the story along the way. So he's working on group staff, serving as a remote site manager that we'll hear about his decoration. So we have a site up in Ukqiavik, the northernmost point in Alaska, and we rotate people through there. Turns out you got to do a little bit of preparation to get them ready to go. So he runs that for us. He runs our Coast Guard deployments. That's on occasion having a chance to TDY our airmen out to Coast Guard cutters. And then something that hasn't yet rolled out for our site, but will soon, is as a staff officer, he gets the video team in from NSA, and we're able to make a couple videos, to including one that I think several of the faces in this room have done some starring in, called Why I Love Alaska, that we are very proud about in a recruiting perspective. So certainly what stands out to us is that in that group staff setting, he is a friend to pretty much everyone on that team. And it is awesome to see your faces in here today. And then my exposure to Matt and his willingness to be honest was, we were interviewing a handful of different folks for the group exec position. And perhaps our favorite interview was in fact with Matt. It wasn't because we thought he would be a good exec, as pretty much right off the bat he told us, if you need me to do it, I'll do it, but we just don't think I'm going to be very good. Having consulted with Joy, who wisely advised of this, we agreed. We weren't, going to necessarily put this to the test, but Sarah, your willingness to take it on if we needed you to, but otherwise just tell it like it is, really was a treat that day. So to close here, really thank you for the honor of allowing me to officiate and join in this celebration with you and your family. We know you're both a senior NCO, willing and able to take on anything we ask, but more importantly, a friend to so many. And so we know it's not a goodbye. You're going to be joining us again for Skillbridge, so working with our HR member and then staying in the local area. But for this chapter, a job very well done. And you can join me at the center of the stage.
Attention to orders. Master Sergeant Matthew Parker, United States Air Force, distinguished himself by outstanding meritorious service as Staff Officer, Chief of Staff, National Security Agency, Central Security Service, Alaska, from August 2022 to September 2025. During this period, Sergeant Parker grew remote site reachback support and refined service and cross-enterprise support agreements that underpinned National Security Agency Alaska's ability to operate a no-fail mission. Specifically, he synchronized operational and personal requirements to enable execution of 33 National Security Agency Alaska task remote RTID deployments, leading to a more refined process which enabled 37 critical strategic leadership visits that improved safeguards for information technology assets valued over $2.2 million. Additionally, Sergeant Parker liaised between the site and the United States Coast Guard to build procedures for 3 cross-service deployments that rapidly provided key capabilities to national defense naval missions and to pave the way for 20 new Arctic defense positions. Furthermore, as site project manager, he coordinated with 6 organizations across the Department of Defense for the installation of an $8 million system, aligning National Security Agency requirements with National Defense Strategy's highest priorities, mitigating operational impacts. Finally, Sergeant Parker hosted a 10-day National Security Agency video team and collaborated with 18 volunteers to create the site's first recruitment video, saving Talent Management Office 81 hours of outreach projects yearly, which fed his 2-time selection as Military Performer of the Quarter. The distinctive accomplishments of Master Sergeant Parker culminated a distinguished career in the service of his country and reflect great credit upon himself, the United States Air Force, and the Department of Defense. Please remain standing for the reading of the retirement order.
Publish the order.
Special order number AC 00685, dated 16 October 2024, effective 30 September 2025. You are relieved from active duty, organization, and station of assignment. Retired effective 1 October 2025 per AFI 363203 in the grade of Master Sergeant. Proceed to home of selection by order of the Secretary of the Air Force.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Colonel Terry will now present the retirement certificate to Master Sergeant Parker from General Alvin. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Master Sergeant Matthew R. Parker, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on the 1st of October, 2025. Signed, David W. Alvin, United States Air Force, Chief of Staff, and Colonel Laura Terry, Commander, 373rd Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Group. At this time, Colonel Terry will present Master Sergeant Parker with a certificate of appreciation from Chief Master Sergeant Flossie. Certificate of Appreciation from Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. I am proud to join your friends and family in congratulating you on your retirement from the United States Air Force. The achievements and contributions you have made throughout your career are indicative of the core values of our great service. Your retirement is well deserved, but your selfless contributions will be sorely missed. On behalf of all airmen, thank you for your faithful and devoted service to our nation. As this chapter in your life closes and a new one begins, I hope the years ahead are filled with more great memories and continued success. Colonel Terry and Master Sergeant Parker, you may now be seated. At this time, we will now proceed with the flag folding ceremony and the presentation of the retirement flag. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been the symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars. White in a blue field representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represents the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor, white signifies purity and innocence, and blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our U.S. Air Force, nor on the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans have been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom, at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict on land and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we, as Americans, enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for the freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. please come forward to attach the retirement pin to your husband's lapel and remain on stage for a special presentation. At this time, Colonel Terry will present Ms. Parker with certificates of appreciation from both General Alvin and Chief Master Sergeant Flossie. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Air Force. In grateful appreciation, the United States Air Force presents this certificate of recognition to Joy Parker for the commitment and numerous contributions that made positive impacts to the nation's defense. Thank you for the support which gave strength and purpose to your spouse's service. Given this 1st of October, 2025, signed David W. Alvin, United States Air Force, Chief of Staff, and Colonel Laura Terry, Commander, 373rd Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Group. Certificate of Appreciation from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. On behalf of all Air Force airmen and their families, the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force presents this certificate of appreciation to Joy Parker by Joy, your spouse, family, and friends in thanking you for the numerous contributions and sacrifices you made in support of our United States Air Force. Your dedication, given strength and purpose to your spouse's service and defense of our nation. At this time, Colonel Terry will present Master Sergeant Parker's kids, Caitlin, Addison, and Jesslyn, with a certificate of appreciation. On the occasion of their father's retirement from honorable service with the United States Air Force, has earned grateful and heartfelt appreciation from their nation for their many years of loyal support as a United States Air Force family member. Their continual love and sacrifices have been a great source of strength throughout their family's 22 years of faithful service and have brought great credit upon their family, their nation, and upon the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Master Sergeant Matthew R. Parker, United States Air Force, retired.
Just stay protected by me before we if you don't mind. I'm not going to be as eloquent as anyone else today, but just got a little bit. Just want everybody to hear. So first, Colonel Terry, thank you for presiding and just having my back and just enabling me to do the job that I have done. It has been amazing working for you. So thank you. Chaplain Schumann, thank you so much. I loved you adding your little flair to it. Could have done a little more, but it was good. Airman Wynn, thank you for singing the national anthem. We were really kind of scrambling there to get some, so thank you for stepping up. I want to thank Aaron Unger and Mason for helping out with the ushers. wherever you are, there you are. So thank you all very much. And Sergeant Carrasco, thanks for doing such a wonderful job in there. You've been doing really good, so thanks. And then everyone that helped put this on. That's Sergeant Johnson, Combatant, and Carnes, and my Sergeant Todd. They all had a big part, and none of this happens without y'all, so thank y'all so much. I'd like to thank Christy for just trusting my work, having my back, kind of just giving us that freedom, like all of us that work up there, that freedom that we need to just really get things done. So thank you. Chief Lodge for believing me, the 301st, and when you came up to the group. I know you, along with some of the other supervisors I've had, were big reasons I got those promote nows. So thank you. And Colonel Hopkins, also for just trusting in my decisions and any of the advice I gave her whenever I was doing the the t-shirt duties. A lot of my previous coworkers and bosses, and some of them mentors, a lot of them are retired now. But we have Haim and Anderson, Brower, one of my friends here, both of the Verdugos, Tucker, Waldron, and Henson, and Bear Ronald. Worked a lot with you guys. Suchik, Sierra Brown, Sergeant Poland, the Kowalkis, Reed, Montez, and of course, Ben and Maddie Latour, who have moved on to different assignment. And that's who we have to thank for the people. I'd also like to thank a lot of the recent and current team members that I've had, just for mostly keeping the office a fun place and mostly drama-free, at least. I enjoyed being the presence that just at least seemed like I was unfazed by most things going on. There were times I was like, a duck on the pond, just calm looking, but frantic underneath. So at least I could show a calm demeanor. Also, Senior Matthew, RC, Todd again, Roa, both cannons, Sergeant Carnes, Johnson, Carrasco, and Skinner the Kid. It's been a lot of fun working with you guys. My soon-to-be boss, Kayla, thank you for coming. June and Allie, just for helping set up some of the decorations and just being good coworkers. And a lot of fun. There may or may not be Nerf guns involved in some of that fun, but yeah, I just want to thank y'all for the good memories that we have had, and just kind of coming here and seeing me off for my last promotion to a civilian. Guess we'll move on to the fun part. Mom and Dad, I want to thank you for just giving me all the chances and opportunities you did, paying for those 4 years of school. I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for both of you. Or as my kids constantly remind me, the man-child I am today. I know I took a lot for granted early, but y'all did eventually stand behind my decisions, and I'm just extremely proud to stand up here before you today, and just thank you very much. Kim, I haven't forgotten how much you did for both of your little brothers. When we were little, whether it be helping us, play at school, learning to read way early, or being forced to take us to the beach. Even when you didn't want to, especially the time I fed the seagull that immediately shat on you in the car. Sorry about that. I don't think I've run that fast in my life. But in case I haven't said it enough, thank you very much for being the sister and role model you have been for my life, and just being here today. So thank you. JJ, thank you too for being a role model for me growing up, even though you wanted nothing to do with it and you had the time. Yeah, you still were maybe forced to take your little brother around. So you also played a real big part in how it turned out today. I've always kind of looked for your approval in a lot of things. So thank you for that. Thank you for your epic best man speech that you gave at our wedding. That's pretty awesome. But, you know, not everything you did was great. There were some times you had to come up with some clever stories for mom and dad, or the time you drew a blue arrow on my head and told your kids I was the Avatar. Thank you very much for all you did. I don't think Miles is in here, but you are a terror, and I love you, buddy. Jan, I'm happy to call you son, and I'm glad just with everything you've done for my daughter, Caitlin, your wife. I know you and Caitlin didn't take the normal path in your relationship, but I guess you have good role models in us that didn't do that either. But just please continue to take care of your wife and your son, and let us know whenever we can meet you in Yosemite for a family trip. It's Yosemite, he thought it was Yosemite. He's Army, it's okay. Sorry, baby. So Caitlin, you probably had the worst of my deployments and our moves around the world. It was during your more formative years, and I do apologize for that. But there were also plenty of good times, such as you getting to travel all over Europe and Japan, and actually having those memories. I even remember giving you my favorite spaghetti carbonara when we finally found that place in Venice again, because you didn't like your Venetian squid that was cooked and served in its own ink. It actually turned out to be pretty good, but I really wanted my spaghetti. But I know you have everything that you need to be successful in whatever you want to do. And I'm just very proud of everything that you've overcome, and the woman that you would become today. So. Addie, while you have not had to endure as many moves and deployments as Caitlin, you've had to deal with your fair share of me being away. You've moved away from friends, and you've had many friends move away from you, living on base here. You've also made it your mission in life to never let your mom or I be on time to anything. Closely following your Aunt Kim. You are an exceptional daughter. I am proud of everything you've accomplished, from learning the 3 instruments the past few years, just to navigating the everyday drama of junior high and high school in today's world, and keeping it mostly brain rot free. Jessa, you've had it the easiest as far as moves and deployments, but then you may have had it the hardest because I've been at home your whole life. It's probably a big reason why you insist on jumping out and scaring the hell out of me every chance you get, including last night. You made us proud, just excelling in school, band, and then just the improvement you've done in volleyball this one year. It's been great to be present for your activities, and then I'm just excited to see you grow into the woman you become. And joy. You can just look around and see the effect that you have on the people around you. There's probably a good 40% of the people here that are here for you. I've met most of them. It just goes to show, like, they're here to support you because it shows how great of a teammate, supervisor, subordinate, friend, and work mom you are. to your team. So we've been through some times, but our bond and connection have just seen us through them all pretty unscathed. I do consider myself blessed to have you in my life. And honestly, I don't know where I'd be right now if we hadn't decided just to team up for this thing called life. I've enjoyed traveling the world with you, especially when you showcase your grace by tripping over luggage at least once on every trip we've been on. It's been really amazing to have you by my side. I look forward to just continuing on with you by my side. You've been my wife, my soulmate, my best friend. So I do want to thank everybody for coming out. I guess I'd share a few words also with the workforce. Y'all did take time out of your day. Friday, getting out early, but you still took time out of your day to be here today. So just don't be afraid if you excel at one thing if you're excelling at one thing, just be sure to bring your peers and subordinates and troops, just bring them along. Don't make the mistake of becoming too important at your job to where they need you for everything. I've pretty much attempted to write myself out of my position every time I get. I don't like being bothered at home. And even with all that, you'll still get those calls. But just have that continuity with your coworkers, even if you just put it down in writing. And don't make some of the mistakes I did, like holding yourself back. I was ready to just retire as a tech sergeant. Then when I got up here, they put me in the position that a master sergeant had been holding. So then I was doing master sergeant work, but not getting paid for it. So just put in the effort, take the promotions, and go, and just keep moving forward. And don't be afraid to put yourselves out there, try different things professionally, and just get out of your comfort zone. But yeah, I do want to just thank everybody for coming. Again, it means a lot. Really good day. I am surprised I made it through tear-free. But we'll see how the rest goes. I did like to roll now into the gift presentation for Joy and the girls. We'll just come around. And here you go. Oh no, you can sit. You can sit and open them. Yeah. Got it. We got it. Please. So, I thought I missed this opportunity. I like everything I do. I waited till the last minute. But my mom came through and she made these quilts out of a bunch of my old uniforms. Flip it. You want to read it for everybody? So these are, like I said, it's made out of a bunch of the uniforms that I had deployed with or just worn in garrison. No, it's okay. But it does. But you want to read it?
Let me breathe. To Joy, our life around the world. Love, Matt.
All right, once again, thank you everybody for coming. We'll go ahead and wrap this up so y'all everyone can begin their weekend.
The men and women of the United States Air Force are proud to have served with Master Sergeant Parker and wish him and his family the best in their future endeavors. Will the audience please stand for the singing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party. This concludes today's ceremony. Master Sergeant Parker and his family invite you to join them for a small reception at the back of this room. Thank you for attending.